Future Talk.
This is Future Talk
with Omnial Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. It is me, Hani Balkis, with Omnia Saleh, bringing you everything you need to know about what's happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday, August 9th. I'm very, very, very excited for this week because it's not a full week. We have off on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe most of the UAE has off on Thursday. And why do they have off? I forgot.
Because it is the new Hijri year. So we're going to be celebrating the new Hijri year. And actually, today, I think, marks the first day of the Hijri year. But they kind of pushed the holiday till Thursday so that we can get a long weekend ahead.
But Omni, I'm kind of upset.
Why?
Because I haven't gotten the new generation Emirates ID yet.
Same.
Now, I actually got my Emirates ID renewed recently, and I was expecting to get the new ID, but I didn't. But today we're going to be talking about the UAE's new generation of the Emirates ID and how it has been unveiled today.
Yes, indeed. You know when they always say, like, the picture on your driving license, on your Emirates ID is always, like...
You want to see mine?
A mugshot? This one is going to be a 3D image, and I'm so excited to see if that's going to make us look any better.
I'm going to show you my Emirates
Okay.
ID. And how
Let's just hide the other details.
I get in trouble all the time.
Why? Is it... Oh my God.
It's when I was like 14.
Mine isn't any better, so I'm not going to say much. But
So when I give my Emirates ID, they're like...
Is that you?
Hadinta. Honey. I'm like, yeah, it's me. Like, when you were like 13, I'm like, yeah. Like, why haven't you updated it yet? I'm like, no one ever told me to.
I know, same. I'm wearing a sock in mine.
You're wearing a sock?
Yeah. You know the other hijab that's like a two-piece sock thing? I'll show you later on.
All right.
Anyway, coming up on today's show, we're also going to be talking all about Google and how they are actually going to be building their very own processors this year. Are they getting a little jealous from Apple? Who knows? But they're actually going to be ditching Intel and Qualcomm and focusing on their very own chips this year.
Yes, and we're also talking about a bunch of young Emiratis who actually launched a wildlife tracking satellite. And what does that do?
They track wildlife.
Yeah, that's funny about it, yeah.
Not sure, but coming up in the world of apps, lots is happening as well as we discuss Instagram scammers and how they actually figured out a way how they can get paid for banning people. So soon enough, they may just be banning everyone and getting a lot of money because of it.
Yes, now you guys do know that if we don't have internet, we can't actually access Siri. But now we're going to be talking about Siri offline and 10 tips how to use Siri without the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of jam-packed stories for today. Keep Pulse 95 locked because we're going to be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
If you're living right here in the UAE, we've got some great news for everyone because we all know that the Emirates ID is our lifeline. It's the one card that
I'm jumping for joy right now.
He's so excited.
Yes.
Sadly, though, he only got the old one. Anyways, anyone who's going to be applying for a new Emirates ID, you will be receiving the brand new design that actually has a lot of very cool and tech-savvy features. One of them being the 3D picture and another one being increased data protection, so all your information will be a lot safer.
Yes, so if you don't like the way you look, well, too bad, because now they're gonna see it in 3D.
So all the angles are out.
So all you people have sides, right?
Yes.
I like my left side. Right. So you guys notice that I always talk to you guys like this when I'm on the camera. No, I'm joking. But people that have good sides, so now everyone's gonna see your bad side, your good side. But I do believe it's kind of like something in your brain. There's no good side or good angle. It's just what you're most comfortable with. But the UAE has actually unveiled a new generation of Emirates ID, which will be used by the public. Now, the Federal Authority for Identity and Citizenship have revealed some of the upgraded features of this advanced card when announcing its launch on social media. Now, there's been a lot of, talk about these cards. And when I first applied to get my visa, my Emirates ID to be renewed, I was kind of expecting to get it, and then it came the old one. I was like, wow.
You feel bad.
What a buzzkill. But this actually advanced identity card will have enhanced protection of non-visible data and even an increased service life of more than 10 years.
So that means it's actually going to be a lot safer when it comes to sharing your information online. Also, it's going to have, as you've mentioned, Tani, a 3D picture that uses laser printing technology. So it's actually going to be showing the date of birth of the card holder immediately once that picture is scanned. The authority did not say when the physical version of the card would be introduced. However, any resident right here in the UAE, you may be able to see the new advanced version of it on your ICA app, since we do know that now all of our Emirates ID are actually available in a digital format on that application, and the app is called ICA UAE.
You know, Omnia, something weird about how a lot of places still don't accept the one on the app.
No way.
Yes, so I had to go to one of my friend's apartment complexes.
Okay.
And they asked for an Emirates ID, which, you know, security, understandable.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't actually have my ID be sent to me. So I said, hey, I have an ID, but it hasn't been sent to me.
It's not physical.
It's not physical. I have it on my phone. He's like, no, we don't accept it. I'm like, what do you mean? So it actually can be presented as a PDF as well if I send it to your email. He's like, no, physical only. I'm like, so what, I can't get into it? So I gave him my old ID, but the moral of the story was I'm surprised that, you know, it hasn't been mandatory to accept all forms of the ID, because then what's the point of a digital ID as well? But again, this updated card is being launched as part of an ongoing project to revamp identification cards and even Emirati passports. Now, Omni and I have actually talked about the new type of Emirati passports that UAE citizens will be getting, that it will be kind of more, you know, advanced than other countries.
Yes, indeed. Now, if you're looking to see, are you going to be receiving the new design of the Emirates ID, or will you have to kind of settle with the old one? We have actually seen a lot of officials stating that the first people who will be receiving those new printed Emirates ID cards will be those whose current Emirates ID has expired, or those who are requesting replacements since they have lost or damaged their older Emirates ID cards. Now, all residents who have Emirates ID, your cards are valid, so don't worry and think just because you don't have the new design, then your old Emirates ID does not work.
You're just going to be out of fashion.
Yeah, basically.
Right? And you're going to be a loser.
You're going to have to use it.
And everyone's going to have the cool ones. You're like, you know how much FOMO I'm going to get? Because I'm stuck with the old one, right?
A lot of people will have to be stuck until they expire.
FOMO means fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or having that feeling of missing out. So everyone's going like, hey guys, did you guys see my new... Oh, look how I look from the side. And I'm like, yeah, here's mine.
You don't want to see mine.
You don't want to see mine. I look boring.
Oh, honey.
But you can. I do believe you can ask for an updated one, but you do have to pay for a fee.
The thing is, I mean, for you to get an updated one, you'd have to lose your old one or damage it.
SubhanAllah, I lost my ID. No, but in the identification app, you can actually ask for a new ID.
The electronic one, you'll get it in the new design, not the physical one.
No, you can ask for a new ID if you lost yours.
Yeah, if you lost yours, absolutely.
Yeah,
or damaged it even.
Yeah, you can ask for one, and you know, you'll pay, I believe, a fee of 150 dirhams to 200. Don't quote me on that. But I mean, it's possible to get it if you do want that new one when it's actually rolled out. Now,
but I mean, for everyone, you can go and download it for free. The digital copy of the 3D image, you can have
up.
It for
It's
free.
Right now.
It says that it is up.
Let me
so
check.
it's free on both Apple and Android stores. You can download the app. It's ICA UAE Smart app, and you can find it there, possibly.
Yes, and again, although the Director General of the ICA have said that he has actually advised residents to use their valid card until its expiry date in order to benefit from the updated ID on renewal. So my plan does not work. So we do need to wait for that. And I'm going to look at it right now. I think, no, it's still the same on you.
Is it?
Yes, still the same.
Maybe needs a couple of days, but I mean, nonetheless, I think it would be even really nice to have it downloaded and part of your wallet on your Apple phone. Even if you don't have an Apple phone, I'm sure they have a wallet.
It's pretty cool, though. You know, you got
is.
your QR code. You can flip it front to back. I mean, it's going to be very handy dandy. And again, we've talked about this before on the show that one day everything will be in the palm of your hands. And we're talking about the phone, your debit card, your ATM card, everything. And you know, Omnia.
Yeah, I was just going to say something.
I was, where was I today? I was at the hospital.
Yeah,
right?
for residency.
And I was at the hospital, and you can donate now via
Emirates ID?
Not Emirates ID, with your phone. So you know how you
donating money, yeah.
donating money. So let's say example, you take out a dirham. So now
instead you just tap.
Tap to pay. You can just go like this, and then you set the X amount, and you can donate.
Ever
to
since
Sharjah charity.
COVID, they've been doing that, and I think it's actually very nice because some people don't have cash on them.
Exactly, it's crazy because it's
totally digital instead of having those papers.
Yeah, it's just your own thing, right? It's like how the boxes, they put a dirham right next to the supermarket.
Yeah,
it's like that. I was like, what? I host a technological show. How do I not know about this?
What's even cooler? The fact that now your insurance card is actually part of your Emirates ID.
Yes, very, 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 convenient.
Yeah, a lot of students are actually applying for universities now. When they receive their health plan, it's written right there that your Emirates ID will become your insurance card and you don't have to carry any extra cards on hand. Let us know, what have you been surprised that it's been digitized? And I feel like things have just been going faster and faster ever since the COVID-19 pandemic has started. Share with us your thoughts at 4215, Lure Etisalat, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. But coming up, we're going to be talking all about Google getting jealous from Apple once again as they start working on their very own smartphone processors this year.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Google has hit headlines recently on how they will actually abandon the Qualcomm and actually build its own smartphone processors this year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know that they are following suit to the recent initiative that Apple has actually made. I do believe it was last year, how they swapped out their Intel processors and started making them in-house. Now, number one, it actually skyrocketed the performance of their Apple MacBooks.
Yeah.
Right? All their computers, all their MacBooks. And just for relevance, for you to compare, the new MacBook Air with the M1 chip is faster than the old MacBook Pro with an Intel chip.
Hear that right. We're comparing Air to MacBook Pro.
Yes.
And usually the MacBook Pro is like invincible.
Exactly. And the MacBook Air has no fans on it. So again, we're looking at greater power and less of a price. But now let's kind of go back and talk about Google. Now, obviously, Google does want to follow suit, and I think it's a great idea because this will actually make the smartphones work better when you have an in-house processor being made, because obviously you are what you eat, remember?
True.
Think about it as a person. You know what you're putting in, so you know how you're going to actually deal with
and how to improve what you once had.
And how to improve, and you're just going to be functioning a lot better.
Absolutely. Now, Google, they know their smartphones. They know the way they compute, the way that they process. So I feel like they are the best fit to their own devices. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're actually going to be building their very own smartphone processor that goes by the name Google Tensor. So this new chip or processor will actually be powering its new Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro phones this fall. Now, this is just yet another example of a company building its own chips, and they feel ready to basically ditch Qualcomm. And this move is very similar to what Apple has done when they went ahead and also left their own Intel chips. Just like Apple, Google is actually going to be using an ARM-based architecture. To put things in context, ARM processors are usually lower power and they're used across the industry for mobile devices, from phones to tablets to laptops. So they're going to be creating a similar processor, but they are going to be targeting their own weak points. So it's going to shift Google's strategy. In recent years, they've been focusing more on making the phones more affordable instead of offering high-end phones. But now they actually want to start competing with Apple and Samsung with their Pixel phones. And I personally feel like now that they're creating their own processors, they might just have a good chance.
Yeah, again, I mean, we're looking at Google, trying to be at the head right now. Now, obviously, we do know there's a big competition in the tech world when it does come to Apple, Samsung, and as of recently, Google. Now, I personally haven't seen Pixel 6 or the Pixel line in the UAE kind of, lift off, but in other countries around the world, I mean, Google was doing very good. And, in regards to Qualcomm, they did say that they will continue to work closely with Google on current and future products based on its Snapdragon platform. Now, for those who don't know, Google actually owns Android, right? So the iOS or the software that Samsung uses is Android. So Google owns that. And surprisingly enough, Samsung is bigger than Google. But, I feel like now it's much, much better to do everything in-house. Number one, it's cheaper.
Way cheaper.
Right? And number two, Google wants to kind of kick off their tablets and they want to kick off their laptops. Now, we do know there's a couple of Google laptops. I don't know the exact name of it. I think
the Chromebooks?
The Chromebooks,
yeah.
Great. Yeah, the Chromebooks. Now, the Chromebooks were deemed as, a budget-friendly type of laptop.
Especially during COVID-19, they were actually giving them out in volume.
Yeah, now budget-friendly for schools as well and for students. Now, Omnia, when I was a kid in America, right, in elementary school and middle school, so when we were given laptops, we were given Apple laptops, right? Okay. And Apple, we do know, is pretty expensive.
100%.
And Chromebooks or Google, they want to kind of capsize on that market and bring out quality computers or quality laptops and have it budget friendly. Because again, let's think about it like this. A laptop, let's go at the basic entry-level MacBook, which is the MacBook Air, and I think that goes for around $4,000, right?
Yeah, 3,700
around that. And the entry-level MacBook Pro, $4,500. We're talking about a school of like 500 students, right? That's like 2 million dirhams.
Exactly.
If not more, right? So, when we're looking at this aspect, I think Google would actually strive very well because there's actually a lot of good reviews on Chromebooks.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Omnia, with their OS, so they don't use Windows, they don't use Mac OS, they use their own OS that a lot of people can't actually get the hang of just yet. And it's kind of like a tablet.
It's a mixture.
Yeah, it's a kind of mixture of both, and a lot of people are kind of uneasy with it. Also, you got Photoshop, you got Word. A lot of things is kind of different, but for underdeveloped countries, this would be a very, very, very good alternative.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of their new processing unit, they're actually hoping that's going to be having a lot better features, like the voice-to-speech feature is going to be a lot more improved, so it might actually come in handy for people with disabilities. They can just speak out the words and the laptop or the computer or even the phone would type it out for them. They say that it's going to have a lot better translation capabilities, and also the same chip will have a dedicated processor within it that can run artificial intelligence applications. So you're looking at a phone that is able to process way more information on its own instead of having to send all this data up to the cloud. I want to hear from all of you. What are your thoughts on Google actually ditching Qualcomm? And do you feel like this is just going to become the norm? We've already seen Apple do it. Now Google is following the same footsteps. Our text lines are open for 215 Door Salat or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. Coming up, we're talking all about wildlife and young Emiratis who are actually creating a wildlife tracking satellite. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
Growing up, we were always heavily kind of immersed into wildlife. Maybe because of our science classes, we used to study all about the different types of birds, what animals are out there. But as we grew up, we kind of just witness whatever nature we have around us, and that is pretty much it. But a group of Emiratis actually decided to create a wildlife tracking satellite that may just save the lives of many animals out there who tend to go extinct or are just in remote areas that we don't even know about.
Yeah, now Omnia, I have a question.
I'm so worried about your questions in this segment.
Right, so what sound does the duck make
my God.
when it's going backwards?
Same sound as it does when it goes.
So again,
quack,
I mean, us as growing up, we kind of watched a lot of National Geographic, and I remember very vividly.
There's a different sound?
Yeah, when a duck is walking backwards, it'll go back, 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 back.
What in the world?
Back, back, back,
really?
back. Yeah.
And when it goes to the front, what does it say?
Front, front, front.
Really?
Yeah, but again,
You leave for 2 weeks, you come with all the dad jokes out there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was writing them down. I had my little bit notepad, writing down all the things I'm going to say on the show.
Oh my God.
But let's get down to business on how Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, who is the Prime Minister of the UAE and the ruler of Dubai, has actually praised these young Emiratis who have launched a wildlife tracking satellite. Now, this technology is actually designed to study the migration patterns of birds and animals in remote areas. Now, for those who don't know, birds actually migrate during the seasons, right?
Yeah.
They'll go to a cold area, then they'll go to a hot area. Depends on the season. I ain't no wildlife, specialist only when it comes to ducks, right? But, this satellite is called Ghalib. Right, and it was built in the Emirates by a UAE company called Marshall Technologies, and actually is a subsidiary of the UAE Bin Ghalib Group. And it will assist the study of bird and animal migration patterns in the remote areas, just like I mentioned.
Yes, indeed. Now, in October of last year, we actually witnessed yet another satellite that was built in the UAE, and it was actually, celebrated by everyone. We were so excited for this new Arab Emirati satellite. It was named Khalifa Sat, and it was actually launched to basically help carry different Arab satellites. But now we're actually witnessing a lot more satellites being built by Emiratis, and this one is going to help a lot with the wildlife monitoring and tracking. Now, a lot of people may be wondering, why is it important for us to actually be able to track wildlife? Well, because in a lot of areas, the data collected from the GPS, from the high-resolution satellite images, actually allows many researchers to kind of monitor the wildlife movement, the patterns, the species numbers, the behaviors, and it actually helps preventing them from going extinct. In a lot of the cases, we've seen a lot of wildlife that is actually caught by different individuals. Some people actually love to catch unique animals. They get their skin off and it's heartbreaking, but this is exactly why we have satellites like this out there to help, kind of protect the wildlife.
Now, again, this is the first Emirati satellite dedicated to tracking wildlife. Yeah. And again, this is a very vital sector. And, we've been looking at recently the UAE as a whole, creating more and more satellites to study not only space and Mars. I mean, just last year of July, the UAE did launch the whole probe on the Arab world's first mission to Mars. And now we're looking at a first Emirati satellite to track wildlife. And this just goes again by what, the rulers of the UAE always say. They say that the sky is the limit. Keep going. And alhamdulillah, right here in the UAE, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at how, again, achievement over achievement, again and again and again. And they keep topping themselves up. So, I mean, wildlife is very important. We have climate change. We have species going extinct, etc. So, studying these species and studying animals in general will give us, more insight on how to protect them.
Absolutely. So let us know what are your thoughts about this story. Our text lines are open for 215 Dur Salat or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. But coming up, we're going to be talking all about Instagram scammers and how they have actually figured out a way to make some money from banning people. How were they able to do that? You got to stay tuned to find out more about it.
And before we take a short break, I want to ask you guys a question for 215 Dur Salat.
Please, no ducks or animals.
No. And the question is, what sound does the snake make?
I knew it was going to be.
Let them answer, and next segment we will be talking about
what
the answers.
The noise of the sound of a snake?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's try and find an answer.
Answer.
Okay, keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Answer.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Right before the break, Hani posed a very interesting question. It was a very important one, and I'm actually very excited to see what the answer is, because I'm sure it's going to be yet another lame dad joke. He goes off for 2 weeks and comes back with a bank of jokes. But the question was, what sound does a snake make, right?
Yes. Now, Omnia, I'm actually really disappointed in how you foresee the information I'm bringing to the...
It's very valuable tech information.
Bringing
Don't
it
get
to
me
the
wrong.
audience, bringing it to you, you
Sure.
know. Right here on Future Talk, we like to have fun, but at the same time, information that is very valuable. And when we talk about snakes as a species, you know, we have the cobra, we have the, you know, the rattlesnake, we have a lot of snakes, right? But snakes in general, Omnia, it was kind of a trivia question.
Guys, he has the most serious face on right now.
And snakes actually don't make noise, Omnia. Because they don't move, they don't walk, Omnia.
But they do make a noise.
No, they don't make a noise. Have you ever heard a snake moving?
No, not moving. I mean, they make noises.
But
You said, what sound does the snake make?
Yeah, it's a trivia
Not when
question.
it moves.
Yeah.
Don't they make any noise?
I said when they move.
You did you?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
See, so
Okay.
again, you thought I was making a nice little dad joke. I wasn't, but you know, Omnia,
I want to see how you're going to make the segue.
I'm not, you know, kind of, you know, trying to make it a funny segment this time. I'm trying to be very serious when we're talking. But you know what else is a snake, Omnia? Instagram scammers. These are snakes, you know?
Yes.
They'll bite you, right? And they have actually figured out a way to get paid for banning people. And you know, this actually, I might use this service.
Really?
Yes.
To ban me and get some money out of it?
I have a couple of people. No, you know, you pay to ban people. So I will pay a scammer to ban someone.
Okay.
I got a lot of people in mind. I hope my checkbook is ready. But Instagram scammers have developed a lucrative banning racket, which is according to a new report. And for around $60, some scammers will get banned whatever Instagram you choose, friend or even foe. And often the scammers make even more money on the back end by helping the users regain access to their accounts. So
This
it's
is
like
messy.
bad cop, good cop.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it's messy because I've actually seen a lot of YouTubers go through this with their YouTube accounts. Some people will actually reach out to hackers asking them to basically take access over another person's account. And then when they do, that scammer or that hacker gets access of the YouTube account, they gain even more money giving that account back to the original YouTuber. And sometimes they don't even gain account
I'm going to ban
access back
Elon
also.
Musk's account.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
If you want your account back, Elon,
He won't want it back, bro. He'll
send
just
me
make another one.
a Tesla Model X
You won't even hear an answer back.
or the Tesla truck or send me to space.
Okay, let me tell you the process of what you'll have to go through to actually
I
ban
don't
Elon
mind.
Musk.
You know, cash is king, Omnia.
Sure thing. So all you'll have to do is use a verified account, and they can do that very easily.
I have to use a verified
No,
account?
the scammer. So they'll easily buy followers and become verified or whatever is the process. So they'll have a verified account and then they'll go ahead and impersonate their target. So they'll use their name, the photo, the bio, and then they'll report that target as an impersonator to get them banned. So they'll play victim. They'll act as if their account is being targeted, and that way Instagram can go ahead and ban them. So as long as the target has a human in their profile picture, this method will work, no matter what account you're talking about. This is actually very messy because Instagram has always released a lot of policies trying to protect us as users, trying to make sure that, you know, whoever is trying to impersonate someone else, that they are being dealt with. But when a policy is used in
Why are
a
you
very...
laughing?
No, I'm just surprised. When a policy is used in a very bad way,
Yes.
then you're talking about Instagram not knowing what to do anymore. They released this policy to try and protect us as users, and now hackers have found a loophole in that very policy.
You know why I asked why you're laughing? Because I
Why?
thought you were looking at my laptop. And I thought you saw what I Googled.
What did you Google? I'm worried to ask.
How much does it cost to get verified on Instagram?
Have we gotten this low?
No, I mean, I want to try.
You want to try? How?
Right.
What would it cost
I'm not
you?
telling you.
What would it cost you?
Just one day, Omnia, if Hani AB verified messages you, just know.
Trying to impersonate?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be.
Anyone?
It's just me,
That's just
right? But again, you know, a lot of these people or scammers are making a business out of this, and you know, they're offering these banning services and also actually help getting the accounts back. Now, believe it or not, to get your account back can cost between $3,500 to $4,000, and you know, most of these people who are verified are actually rich.
Yeah.
So you know, $4,000 is
Nothing.
Is nothing. And, some people even noted that they received offers of account help immediately after the accounts were disabled, and that often the Instagram account that reported them was following the Instagram account that did offer for help. Now, Instagram did not immediately report to reply or, reply to a request for comment, but the company did say that it was investigating these websites that offer these banning services and that users should report people they suspect are guilty for that kind of activity. But you know what? This just, it fires something in me, Omnia.
What does it fire in you? So
See
go
how
ahead.
and verify my Instagram
Oh
account.
my God. Let us know what are your thoughts
There's
about
a black market.
a black market to get verified or to
Yeah.
ban people?
No, but I don't want to ban anyone.
Oh.
Who am I going to ban? You want me to ban you?
No.
Oh, that would be fun.
Really fun.
You have 2 accounts, though.
Yeah.
Which account do you use the most? The work account?
No, the personal one.
Say bye-bye.
Okay, sure thing. Let's see how you're going to get verified
And
first.
then you know what you have to do for the process? You have to send your passport. You have to send pictures, and then you have to take a picture with a fork. And they'll ask you to do things to verify it. Right? You know that, right?
No, I don't know
You
that.
don't
and
know
it's
that?
not
That
even
is the
true.
process. That is the process to verify it.
Yeah, take a picture with a fork.
Yeah, they'll ask you to do things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Guys,
say Hani is the best guy in the whole world, right? Like send a video,
Uh-huh.
right?
Post it all over social media.
We'll see when the time comes.
Let's see. Let us know your guys' thoughts. And have you actually seen any scammer emailing you? Sometimes they can actually send very legitimate emails. I got a WhatsApp message, honey, from someone
I don't know why your
assuming.
number is everywhere, Omni. Like so many people, like scammers, they message you.
So we got some support saying that they may ask you to take a picture with an ID. Not a fork, though. See?
No, trust me, Omnia.
No forks
I
involved.
know my forks.
No forks involved. Thanks a lot, Sama Motor. No forks
I'm
involved.
coming back.
Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking all about 10 tips where you can actually use Siri without internet very easily.
How do you tech? How do you tech?
How do you tech? It is the segment where we tell you exactly how tech works and how you can actually work out tech.
Working out tech?
Yeah.
Subhanallah. Right? Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're telling you guys how to use Siri without internet in 2021 so you can work out offline, right? So we're going to give you 10 offline Siri tips and tricks. What's so funny, Amina?
Because you have to switch everything.
Excitement.
You have to switch everything. Number one.
You can set timers.
My favorite one.
Yeah.
And alarms.
You can
Actually,
e-
not. Even
Yeah.
alarms.
So number 2, set alarms.
Yes, and all you'll have to do is actually, if you want to try it out right now, just turn off Wi-Fi, turn off cellular data, and ask Siri to set an alarm, and she'll happily do it for you, even without any Wi-Fi.
Yeah, just put on airplane mode, which is much easier. And you can do, you know what, Omnia?
What else?
You can enable dark mode or disable it. Right?
Yes.
Number 4, you can read new messages.
So even though you don't have access to any, let's say, 3G or cellular network, you may have actually seen that whenever you receive a new message and you're driving, you can just ask Siri offline to read it out for you, so you don't have to text and drive.
Number 5, you can launch apps.
Yes, indeed.
Number 6, you can control music playback.
Very easily. You can also turn Bluetooth on and off, even if you're not connected to the internet, and just have Siri do it for you on the go.
Number 8,
What's
you
number
can turn
8?
Wi-Fi on and off. Isn't that amazing?
It is
Siri,
amazing.
Turn off my Wi-Fi. Right? You can, this was a good one. I always use airplane mode, or what they call it, flight mode. You can enable it and disable it as well. And the number 10, you can change the brightness.
Yes,
so when you're
indeed.
working out, right, and the brightness off your phone is too dark or too bright, you can lower it and you can make it higher.
Oh my gosh. What are
Aren't you
on
excited?
today? I
It's
am
so
excited. These are 10 quick tips that you can actually use and make the most out of to help you use Siri even if you don't have any internet connection and working out tech. This is what we do right here on How Do You Tech.
Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude Future Talk for today. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, only on Pulse 95. But we got the halftime show, the only place to be at 3 with the man himself, Amar Duri, bringing you everything you need to know about what's happening in sports, mental health, fitness, everything that has to do with your soul and body.
Yes, indeed. And today he actually has a mental health fitness, whatever you want to call it. He has a psychologist on the show. It's a show you don't want to miss out on. Catch us again tomorrow, same time, same place, only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.